Your source for all things Texas Tech. This is the Ask Level podcast from Double T 97.3.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome into another episode of the Ask Level podcast. Alongside Chris Level, I'm Chois Woodman. This podcast, as usual, brought to you by our friends at Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Level, we're almost there. We've almost hit football season. As a matter of fact, I think we got one more Saturday without college football. And then we've got college football, two more Saturdays without Texas Tech football. We've got polls coming out everywhere. We've got the real polls coming out. Texas Tech is a ranked football team. So plenty going on as we lead up to the season. And, oh, by the way, you just landed a commitment of the number one player in the 2027 class. So, lots to dive into today.
Yeah, no doubt. You added some pump jacks out there.
Oh yeah, pump jacks.
Yeah,
Can't forget that. Yeah,
that was a whole thing too, which everybody is. Yeah, it's a bit of a polarizing thing out there in the ether. Kind of like it. Yeah, and do you ever do they ever pair you up over there at the lovely Raymar compound with Gus, or are y'all off limits together?
No, it happens.
Okay,
not super often.
I spent my past Saturday night with Gus and some other folks. So, anyways, yeah, just
I hear he gets down pretty good on a Saturday night. So.
You heard accurate, I guess. I mean, yeah, it's. I mean, if he was with me, that's a slow-moving group. I'm just telling you right there.
Slow-moving group.
Yeah, that's right. But
nice.
Anyway, a fellow 97-3er over there. So I just was, yeah. At the time you and I are talking, and if you are consuming this or watching, listening, whatever, on the day that Choice and I are actually talking, then yeah, Big 12 football is exactly 12 days away.
Yeah.
With Farmageddon, which is I just can't imagine the conversation or the nerves or the buzz if this was Texas Tech and Baylor.
Yeah.
Playing in Ireland in like 12 days. I'd be like, whoa. Because, I mean, there's so much anticipations about seasons and anticipations. There's not an S on that, Chris. Okay, so note to self, don't put an S on anticipation, because anticipations would mean plural, and really anticipation kind of is a blanket word. It kind of covers a lot. So anyway, I'm going to throw that back out there.
No one would have noticed if you didn't just roll right.
I know, but that's where we're at. There's a lot of anticipation about the season in general, and to play one against your rival, and then almost because it's gonna be this weird dynamic of, yeah, man, we still got a long way to go though. But then somebody's gonna be like, man, we're kind of in the catbird seat of the league race right now.
Sure.
And nobody else is even going to have sniffed even starting, and won't really get into that until, I mean, that 1-0 league record. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but that's going to last for what, 2-3 weeks, 4 weeks?
2 weeks, or I guess 3 weeks, because there's a couple teams that play in week 3
on like a Friday night. Maybe
I think so.
Is there a conference game? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But are those actually conference games? Or are they non-conference games?
No, there is I can't remember if it's TCU and someone plays a conference game in week 3. Maybe Colorado, and I don't know.
Yeah, Colorado sounds right, but anyway, point being, it's just like, boy, there's a pucker, like in a nerve, it just gets real in a hurry.
I can't imagine that as a fan going into that, knowing where how much pressure there is on the team that goes 0-1 there. How much pressure? Because both of those teams feel like they go into the season competing for a Big 12 title.
They are two of the top half of the league
Hmm.
that feel like Kansas State, maybe a bit more than Iowa State, but still, that
Sure.
feel like they are going to be in the mix. And immediately you
Yep.
go from, yeah, we have a whole season left to go, but really just don't have much more margin for error. Because let's just call it out like this, and we can get to the questions and everything like that. But
I will.
this is the best way to break this thing down. Texas Tech, you want to talk about record predictions and all that. If you're going to pick them to win the Big 12, you are having to pick a 10-2 or an 11-1 regular season record. And here's
Yep.
why.
Yep.
You can lose a non-conference game. You better not this year. This is not one of those years where Joey's lost one, and every year that he's been here, they've all been road trips against sneaky teams and all that. They're all non-conference games are at home this year, and you should be a lot better than the teams you're going to play. Oregon State will be a bit tricky. Okay, so that's three. So if you're saying hey, they're going to go 9-3, you're saying they're going to go 6-3 in the league. And that's what you did last year. And you
Yep.
finished like in what, fifth or sixth place. So it's going to take 10-2 at minimum, in my opinion.
Minimum. Yep.
And I just so I throw this caveat there too. I'm sure there's a 6-3 league record that may get in if all of the tiebreakers work and you beat the certain this or that. But that you're playing with major fire there.
I don't
You're
know. With
playing with a
16 teams, the math would be hard for a 16 or 6 and
yes,
3 team to get in.
I agree. I agree. So I don't want to just totally, but it's going to take going 7-2 or
Hmm.
better in the league. And so I only bring that up to say somebody like Iowa State or Kansas State before, I mean, 8 or 9 days before freaking Labor Day weekend, it's like, well, dang, we can only take on one more loss the rest of the year to still achieve our goals. And
Yeah.
we've worked this whole thing, and it's just bang, here it is. So anyway, just trying to put it into some perspective there.
Puts a ton of pressure on week one. I mean, that's
Yeah,
what you're
and
not used to
this
necessarily
is
in
no
college football.
different. This is no different, Woodman, than your trip to Salt Lake City. It's the
Agreed.
same thing.
Agreed.
It
Just
just
3 weeks
just
later.
as a yeah, it's a month later.
Yeah.
That's right, week four, as
Yeah.
opposed to week -1 or
Oh yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Negative one. Yeah, so it's going to be weird, but I'm for it because we get to watch good football really early, and I can't wait to take that game in. So, but I don't envy the feelings of the fans there. I All right, Levels. So let's get to the Guyton news. LaDamion Guyton makes his commitment since we've last talked to Texas Tech. This it felt like it was coming, but it still made some pretty major waves across college football.
You know, you say it felt like it was coming. I guess. I mean, because
Uh,
this is so unicorn,
sure it is.
Bigfoot, um, Loch Ness. I mean, whatever, like
Right.
mythical, like unrealistic thought you have out there. Because this is and it's one thing if it's a quarterback, I guess. It's another if it's if it's like because years ago you were in on a Julio Jones
Yes.
and he was a 5 star, and but he played receiver, and so this was the post Crabtree thing, and I'm like, okay, I can connect some dots there. This makes some sense. You're
Sure.
coming to an offense that he's going to catch 70 100 balls if that's what that they envision, but this is a defensive end and he's in Georgia,
Yeah.
and so I'm like,
Sure.
this is
It
where one
doesn't. The
plus
numbers
one
don't add
equals
up.
no, this is where
Y-
1 + 1 = 1 or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, nah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was monster, man. And there are going to be people that and there's a lot of out there on from the national folks that cover this recruitment on RedRaidersports.com, like some of the national folks with On3 saying reclassification. I don't know. There's some different schools that he's gone to, But there's also people that I've talked to that feel like reclassification is a very strong consideration, and that he's going to sign in December. We'll see. Either way, it's either signed this December or next.
Sure.
And a lot can happen between now and then. And I have had maybe somebody has asked this question. Is there anybody that's asked the question on your thread on Twitter about can you pay them before they get here or you start the NIL before? Is that
Yeah, we did get
yeah?
that
I
question
thought it
on
was
Twitter.
okay. Yeah, read it because I want to address that.
Okay, Trisha on Twitter says, "Can a university pay a player for NIL before they are on campus?"
Yeah, Trisha, I this has become I think a confusing for some.
Hmm.
They may look at changing some things. So fiscal years are kind of this is a weird dynamic right now with like the NFL has a league year. It's like
Hmm.
I think the league year is like June 1 to like the end of May.
Right.
So that's why certain guys get cut and on certain days, and like then the fiscal year restarts and all that stuff. But for these high school kids, I don't. There is no payment until they get on campus. You can sign a contract. There can be discussions and contracts, but until you're there and you're in classes and you're kind of rolling, then it's like and this may be negotiable, but it can either be like balloon payment in some cases, or it can be monthly.
Hmm.
All the things, because like the NIL stuff that you've done, it was almost always all over the map. There was not any sort of here's the way this has happens, and we don't waver from that. No, there was
Right.
people that got like, hey man, we really want you to come here. Okay, I'll do that, and they got their money like a day later, like all of it. And then there's others that it drips out monthly, or there's others that have a balloon payment at the end. But no, that there's on this new revenue sharing. No, you've got to be there, and but these are contracts now, and it's also a contract that would require that if he these Felix Ojo, LaDamion Guyton, these are 3-year deals. If he's like, man, this isn't working here, he would have to buy himself out of the contract,
Yeah.
or which is real tangible money.
Hmm.
I don't know what the negotiation there on the dollar figure and all that stuff. Or some other school would be like, hey man, get in the portal, and they could pay the fee, but then those dollars count against whatever school he goes to against their cap or their rev share. Does that make sense? So in
Yes.
other words, if like, hey man, you can buy him out, he can get in the portal, but it's going to cost like 500,000. Well, then wherever he ends up, I think that 500,000 comes off of their cap, so it's like money already spent. So it's like dead money.
Right.
Unlikely to see these guys get into the portal on some of these longer term deals, I guess is my point.
I guess it all makes sense until you get into the NIL combination
Well,
conversation, and
and
that's
we're not there yet.
yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
we're in the midst of.
yeah. So there's another question on Guyton. This one comes from Zach. It says, "Will Guyton reclassify?" You kind of addressed that. If not, is there a chance he could get poached away from Tech before he gets here?
Well, yeah, it's always a chance until he's here and on campus, and now it's somewhat public, and now you know kind of what dollars it's going to take, and
Uh-huh.
is that worth it? And what Joey and Blanche and Cody that they've decided fundamentally to swing big at some premium positions. This may cost you though some overall depth with your team, and there's a rub here too a little bit. But I think they feel like they're trying to treat it like an NFL type scenario.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I want, I want Tyron Smith, and I want, Micah Parsons.
Right.
And like if those guys get hurt, we're probably screwed anyways. But it could cost you, some depth or something. But you're not having to pay big dollars for a lot of the players you're getting. A lot of the players you're getting right now or just want to come here. I know that's shocking to some, but yeah, because there was a recent commitment over the last, I'll just last couple of months that you
Hmm.
added that received a fairly significantly higher offer from another Big 12 institution and took a lot less to come here. But that story wouldn't play well in the media, so nobody's going to tell it.
That's a good transition. Well, not even a transition, but a good segue for this question. Level, what is the strategy for being so public with the money amounts compared to other schools? That one's from Kevin.
It's almost like you're just I don't want to say that it's like putting people on blast, but you're because I think what Tech Tech is and James Blanchard they feel like that some of this has become public by others. There's a lot of misinformation out there.
True. Yeah.
So I think that's part of the reason because see somebody somebody got the Ojo thing immediately wrong.
Right.
And it was up to people around the tech program to kind of go, no, this isn't exactly what the deal is. It's
Hmm.
significantly less than that.
Right.
But the reason that you've got so much public news, one, it's become more high profile because the players you're dealing with. Two, you have a phenomenal relationship with various agents. This is part of the game that you're playing, and you've got a
Hmm.
great rep with them. Well, the agents want this out there,
Sure.
so they are leaking it to the On Threes and the Yahoos and the ESPNs and the Athletics and the CBSs.
Right.
All the, so this client repped by whatever, and this is the deal. And so they have there's a there's a benefit to them leaking it out. So that's part of it too.
Sure.
And then I think Tech ends up with like, so this is what y'all pay for this? Yeah, that's right. I mean, you just it comes like full circle, unless you have to correct the info. But I think part of it too is like, I think somebody like Blanche is trying to. He's basically saying, "Hey man, we're willing to pay for talent. Like some of these other kids are going to these. Like the rumor is, I haven't sat across from Kirby Smart and can't confirm this. The rumor is Georgia only pays like 400 grand for freshmen. Because they just fundamentally are like against it because they've got so many upperclassmen that are draft picks and like legit and guys that have done it and all the things.
Sure.
So they're just like he's been very reluctant to bend on that. Well, if you're LaDamion Guyton and everybody's around there, he's like, "Well, aren't you going to go be a dog, man?" And he's like, "No, sir,
Hmm.
because I can go make double,
Yeah.
and you're gonna commit to me 3 years of double."
Yeah.
I mean, so you see what I'm saying? So
Oh yeah.
there's an opportunity there. Um, he was offered not as much as Tech, but it was close by another Big Ten institution. And so it's just been interesting because I think it's just like Tech has gotten painted with this broad brush that you're just, and again, anybody could have made the same offer that you did. Anybody.
Sure.
But this is a risk that you're taking with hopefully a lot of reward there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a different world, but I mean, if you'd have told me 2 years ago, I mean, 5 stars didn't exist before
Yeah.
at Texas Tech before 2 years ago.
Well, especially it like an offensive tackle or a
Sure.
defensive end.
Yeah. Though, I mean, the Micah Hudson thing, you land a 5 star. Okay. Like you said earlier, it makes some sense. It's a receiver. But if you'd have told me 2 years ago that, hey, you're going to land the number one overall player in a class, and
And Micah
he's
was
a,
in Texas, and Micah was in
and Micah was in
Texas.
Texas,
Yeah,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
yeah.
and he's a defensive end. I'd have said you must have won a national championship or something to lead up to that. I mean, it's
Yeah.
crazy to see this, but it's a really good situation that Tech is obviously in.
But that hopefully that answers the question on like the transparency on the dollars number because some of this is not your doing. You're just being honest about it whenever you're asked about it, and also having to clarify in some cases when things do get out there about what you are and you're not doing because I cannot tell you how many times I've read this summer that Texas Tech has a $55 million football roster.
Right.
That is could not it's this is where the aggregation game that a lot of folks that don't live in Lubbock that are just trying to make money off of reporting or on YouTube or whatever that get things lost in translation, or they don't read or they don't know. But no, you're not paying your football roster 55 million. 55 million was a reported number
Yeah.
that was the whole athletic department, but also the little caveat too, this is also includes the money that the school is spending.
Yeah.
So that includes 20.5 million of rev share money. And so anyway, it's just there's a lot of misinformation out there, and everybody's believing it, like, because
Mhm.
it's like Texas Tech millionaire. You just toss out whatever and people are going to buy it just because it's there is some truth there.
Well, it's kind of, I mean, not to get off on something else, it's kind of like journalism today. There's not a repercussion for being wrong
Yeah.
necessarily. You could just throw whatever you want out there. And it's not like Texas Tech really can just go hold a press conference and say this information out there is wrong. I mean, it's not beneficial for Tech to do that. So people just run with it and go crazy. And I don't know what's true at this point. It's hard to see all of this stuff. 55 million, 35 million, 20 million. What is the number? Because there's so many different numbers out there that people float out because their source or I don't know. They guess at. Okay, let's go to another question. This one comes from Twitter. It says, "Hey Chris, Choice, Sal from Queens, Coach
Oh
McGuire."
man,
Yeah,
NYC.
we got Queens.
Yeah.
Sal, tell us later. Are you going to come out for a game this year? If you're coming from Queens, Coach McGuire's got us spending like the Yankees out here. This is funny. With $55 million NIL war chest, great, but are we building a team that can actually win the Big 12? Or are we just buying a bunch of prima donnas who'll fold when the going gets tough? Give me some straight talk. Can this roster handle the pressure, or are we setting ourselves up for another heartbreak year?
And Sal, I would actually say I think the correct analogy, not to take a shot at the Yankees here, but you're spinning like the Dodgers right now, right?
Nowadays,
And
yeah,
that more, I think there's actually some
no doubt.
criticism.
Yeah,
The Yankees and like the Red Sox is like, what happened?
yeah,
The money tree, is it y'all to forget to water it? No. Yeah, it is a war chest, but again, this is spread out of across a lot of sports. I think that look, you were very intentional about who you went after, and you certainly vetted who these people are, why it was important.
Mhm.
You vetted. Hey, let's go get actual production, not potential. You vetted, their life goals. You tried to find out their why.
Mhm.
But before you honed in on these guys, you knew a lot of these things or had been told by a lot because you've got people working for you and firms working for you that are doing a lot of legwork ahead of time
Yeah,
before anybody even knows who Dante Balfour is.
right.
Okay, around here, it's like here's the file on Dante Balfour. He would be a good fit for your system. This is kind of about what it's going to cost. He likes camping on the weekends. He loves football. His girlfriend's name's Sally. Whatever.
This is a
Um,
dating profile.
well, and so a lot of that is in theory done ahead of time, and
Right.
you've got a good feel for that. This is why that you have good relationships with agents and other things. So you tried to control what you could control there on the prima donna part. You won't ultimately know the answer to this question. And this is Joey's biggest challenge. It's Baron Morton's biggest challenge. It's Jacob Rodriguez's biggest challenge. How much were these days that we've been living through in the summer when nobody's watching, did they really build bonds and the culture and the tight knitness and everything like that? But until it's 34-24 at the beginning of the fourth quarter and you're down by 10 in Salt Lake City, that's when
Hmm.
you're going to find out how tight you are. That's when you're going to find out how many prima donnas you have. That's when you're going to find out, like, man, I'm going to tap out because I don't want this attached to me. or whatever. I mean, that's when you'll find out. I'm not forecasting that you're going to be down by 10 going to the fourth, but I'm just like saying
Could happen.
at some point something like that is
Yeah,
happening.
you're going to face attrition. Even the best teams do.
Well, yeah, not just attrition, but adversity, and like it's not going to go your way. And so,
Sure.
how do you deal with it? What's it going to look like? That's when you'll find out how much prima donna you've got in your locker room or not. So, I think it's all been money well invested, but ultimately we'll see at the end.
Yeah, we've seen it work. And this isn't necessarily the NIL transfer portal era, but in the transfer portal era, we've seen it work in basketball and football, and we've seen it not work in basketball and football. We've seen, heck, you can go back before the portal era and look at how several loaded Texas teams have panned out and loaded A&M teams have panned out with some talent on rosters. You can compile a ton of talent. Heck, you can go back and look at a basketball team from just a few seasons ago with a coach that's not here anymore. You had plenty of talent on that roster that you paid a lot of money to, and that
Well, you had a
didn't work
first
out.
round draft pick.
So, yeah, so
Yeah,
you did.
yeah, that's a fact.
So it's no guarantee that you're going to be able to win just because talent's on the roster.
Oh, there are no guarantees here. I mean, A&M does this every year.
Yes.
There's, I mean, choice the coaches poll came out. What was it over the last week? I guess.
Last Monday, I
And
believe. Yeah.
you, what were you at? 23, 24? Which one was it?
24. Oh, BYU was
24. Okay.
23. Yeah.
So there was five. Help me out here because I'm going because
So you had
there's a million. There was five Big 12 teams ranked in this poll. Yes.
in the coaches poll, which by the way, when
Yes.
you're listening to this, there may be an AP poll out, but not
True.
as we
True.
record. So, but the coaches poll, you had five. I'm going off the noggin here. Arizona State was 11, I believe. Kansas State was 20.
Yeah,
Yeah, you had
yeah,
five Big
and it's
12
fine.
teams.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine. The point I was bringing up is there was five Big 12 teams that were ranked in that poll last year in the preseason. Only one made a bowl game. One.
And zero ended in the poll.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
we're all so smart, and we all think that we got it figured out, and who but Arizona
sure.
State goes from 16 to one, and now is firmly in that poll. So
Mhm.
that's the beauty of sports.
It is. It is.
What you have ultimately done though, because this is the fundamental question. This is the question. I had a couple of speaking engagements last week. I had one this week, and like there's always somebody there that's like, "Hey, we gonna be any good?" And like this is
Sure.
this is the best way to say it.
Sure.
The answer is yes, you will be, but will you be good enough? And what you've done with your portal class, you've raised your floor. Your floor is like, I think at worst, unless just the wheels come off,
Sure.
you're a 7 or 8 win team.
At
But
worst.
you may need to be significantly better than that, like a 10 or 11 win team. There's a big difference between 7-5 and 10-2, like massive. And both are going to bowl games. Both are going to postseason. But
Yeah.
there's a massive difference in what those seasons look like. And we've been living in this 7-5, 8-4 world. But there were times last year where like, man, if things go right, you could go 8-4, 9-3 maybe, but you could also go 5-7 too. Well, what you've done is you're at minimum, you've
Yeah.
raised your floor quite a bit.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. And we were talking at the beginning of this about, I mean, the what it takes to get in the Big 12 championship and the Farmageddon thing going on next week. Like you had four teams finish 7-2 last year in the league. Four
Yep.
of them tied for first place.
Yep.
So even if you go 7-2, it may not be good enough. You may lose
Yep.
tiebreakers. If you want to essentially guarantee your spot in Arlington, you have to have a minimum of one slip up. I'm saying for a
Yep.
guarantee. That's it. 8-1 is what pretty well locks you into Arlington
And
in the Big 12.
this is the reality of it, but knowing that it kind of sucks
It does. Yeah.
because it can be a fun suck.
Yeah.
for a lot of people, and I've almost tried to like go, dude, you got to get out of this thing, man. This is supposed to be fun. You're
Sure.
supposed to enjoy these times. You
Sure.
can't just show up the whole time and be a nervous wreck or whatever all the time. It's just like, dude, you're gonna, because we're gonna be here no matter what, right? And like we still talk about this, but it's just that's what I hated about the '08 season. It was a beauty contest.
Hmm.
It's like not about if
Hmm.
you won, it's how you won, by how much you won by. And like at this point,
When you won.
I don't give a darn.
Yeah.
If you score half a point more than the other guy, salute and move on, man. Because I just don't know. I just refuse to believe that there's going to be some sort of second team from the Big 12 that gets into the playoff based on an at-large bid. I think there's just too much working against you. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think with your non-conference schedule,
Hmm.
it's going to work against you a bit. And so I don't think you would be one of these candidates. Maybe you could. Maybe you could be an 11-1 or 12-1 and lose the Big 12 title game and still get it. I don't know.
Yep.
But I just feel just win, baby.
That's what it comes down to.
Just keep stacking them
Yeah.
by any means necessary.
Yep. That is what it comes down to. One more question level from Jason, and this one's more roster related. Level, can you give me the position group you're most confident in and least confident in heading into the season?
It's a good one. I think most confident in, I'm going to say I'm probably going to say defensive line.
That seems like the free space there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the easy one.
Yeah.
Um, Least confident in, I'll tell you what I would consider, then I'm going to give you an answer. And this sucks because this is like, I'm kind of showing my hands on like what really worries me.
Hmm.
I would have considered running back. I
Okay.
would have considered, wideout maybe or tight end if you break it out even more. Just because I think you've got pieces, but it's like offensive line is in flux a bit. It's a question until it's not.
Sure.
I'm gonna say you're specialists.
Okay.
And that's going to be my answer until it's going to be a concern for me until it isn't. You brought one in. You needed depth there. They didn't have a good spring. You're going to be in some close games. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like it's a bit of a like, dude, Upton. If you can just have the job and then make everything 39 yards and in, like I'll take it and run. I'm not asking you to have to make 52 yarders or
Yeah.
whatever. Although there's going to be at some point like where you're going to be in a game and a 47 yarder and you're like, dang, we gotta have it, man.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's
but
definitely
if
been that way in the last few seasons where you've had to.
that's just the conference you're playing in. I
But
mean,
you survived some specialist questions in the '08 season.
you
So
did, you
so
did.
I'm not saying it was fun all the time. Could have lost on an extra point against Nebraska, but
Because
survived it.
the goal is to not be in close games.
Right.
Like on the positive side, like let's just eliminate that as a problem. But that's not
Agreed.
how it works, man. Not in this league.
Yeah, hopefully you don't have to lean on specialists as much or punter or anything as much this year. That'd be nice, just for my heart and blood pressure as well. But all right, level. That's good stuff. We're so close to football season,
Yeah.
and
Well,
we'll be
Woodman,
talking real
keep
games soon.
keep the hope alive.
Okay.
No stress. Remember, this is stuff is supposed to be fun, right? So like, just chill, man. Like
Football
you
is
just need to,
fun, sir.
yeah, you need to soak it up, buddy.
Yeah.
And I will try to listen to my own words and heed my own
Practice
advice.
what you preach.
But you and I both know that that's not. Yeah, I'm bad about that. Yeah. Listen to what I say. Don't not as I do or yeah, whatever. All
Use
those
that one as
kinds
a
of
parent.
things. Yeah.
I definitely have used that one as a parent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I said so. Well, you don't do that. Yeah, we're not talking about me. I'm talking about this is yeah. Yeah.
That's
I've
good.
used a lot of things as a parent. Most of it good, some of it not so good. But hey,
Right.
man, we all live and learn.
That's right.
My two turned out pretty good. So
That's good. That's good.
yeah, that's right.
All right, Level. Have a good one. We will do it again next week.
Okay, see you, brother. Appreciate it. Thank you to Cantex Roofing too, man. Thank you for everybody for listening to this one, and subscribe to the Double T Sports Network on the old YouTubes. That definitely
Absolutely.
helps the big picture.
Yep.
And I don't know who to gripe at, Woodman, so I'm just going to point at you. But why do you like whenever I do why is that the
I'll out him.
screenshot?
Josh Popple loves to find whatever your
I feel like
screenshot is.
it's like taking a shot at me, and I do it every time. I mean, I talk with my hands, the whole thing.
That's right. That's right.
All right,
That's
all right.
Chris
We'll talk to
Level.
you.
I'm Choice
Yeah.
Woodman. This has been the Ask Level podcast powered by Double T 97.3.
You've been listening to the Ask Level podcast, powered by Double T 97.3.